Good morning. Welcome to Energy Works. Today we've called our talk Just Keep Swimming. And I think all of us have experiences in our life where we feel like we're just going to go under. And sometimes whether these experiences happen to us or to someone else, we're not exactly sure how to do that and perhaps how to support ourselves or how to support other people. And we may need support or help in that journey, or sometimes we just want to do it alone. But the important thing is for us to keep swimming, even when you do feel like you're drowning. And I think each little step that we take in the direction of where we want to go is one more step towards our future goal and the things that we have the desire to achieve. Each of us have purpose and each of us have things within our hearts that we feel are important. And I guess this call today is to help us clear some energy about accomplishing all that it is that we desire to do. So what is it that you desire to do? What is it that you feel is important? What is it that you want to achieve or want to feel is your purpose at this particular point in time? How can you share what's in your heart with the world? How can you change what you feel and get it out there to those that need to hear it? Okay. So let's go into our solar plexus chakra. This is about our power and, our will and our ability to get things done. Sometimes we have a plan and we really know what we want to do, but we have trouble starting whatever it is that we need to do. Maybe we doubt we can do it, or maybe we lack the motivation and drive to get it done, or we think that it will be too hard, or we can't do it in the way that we would like it to happen. All right. And the first thing that comes up, this is from Jenny Rosengren's book, Over 1,000 Categorized Positive and Negative Beliefs. I see that all my needs are being met. All right. I am fitting in. And sometimes we don't fit in where we currently are, and it may be because we have to develop our own tribe or our own set of people that think our way. All right. I give myself permission to move forward. And let's say I love myself enough to move forward. Okay. All right, let's go into the heart chakra now. So the heart chakra is about loving, giving love. I guess loving and being loved is kind of risky. Sometimes we feel that the way we love is not acceptable, or we don't feel that, what we offer is good enough. Sometimes it might be about us. Sometimes it might be about who we're offering to. All right, my spiritual growth is independent of others. There are some times when you feel like you've been thrown back into the past, like whatever experience you're currently having now that is challenging to you will bring up things that need to be addressed from the past, and you may not want to go back to that event in the past, but it may remind you of that event in the past and the things that have yet to be addressed from the past. All right, so what's coming up here is holding on to all the emotional abuse from the past. And, perhaps as children we didn't have the tools to know how to deal with people that weren't coping, or even if we were not coping, and if we felt ridiculed or we felt that we were not validated in our grief or in our experiences, we may feel hurt and feel that people are not understanding how we feel. And I guess the people at those times would be our family members. So we almost hold on to those hurts and treasure them and almost pat them and look after them. So it's like we can choose to address what is painful and what is causing us to be stuck in the past. Because, of course, we can't move forward until we're present right now. Now, some people are better at remaining present than others. For me, I can find it difficult at times to remain present, and I will get thrown back into the past. All right, and I think this affirmation is particularly fitting here. It says, I am spiritually connected to all of my loved ones despite their conscious and unconscious actions. And, when people are hurt, they often do and say things because they are hurt and they want to hurt. And sometimes we can fall into that hurt with them, or sometimes we're able to stay on the outside. I think, if we all end up in the hole, we need someone else to come out and get a ladder to pull us out. And, we need friends that are able to not fall in the hole with us and stay out of the hole and offer us a hand or a ladder to get out of the hole. All right. What comes up here too is belonging. Many times we feel like we're on the outside looking in. We don't know, exactly how to feel like we belong, or maybe it's not the right place for us to belong, or perhaps it's our own beliefs. Like for me, my tendency would be to separate myself if I feel that I'm not coping, and, I may feel like I'm not worthy or good enough to be mixing with other people, which of course is not a true thing, but it's where we get stuck from our past. All right, the other thing that's coming up is loneliness. And I think for many people, loneliness is, definitely part of what's happening with our current world situation. Our circulatory system can be affected, the life force within us. All right, being unable to let a situation go. And sometimes we just get stuck on a certain situation and it's very hard to move past. And every time something seems like that situation again, or smells a bit like it, or feels a bit like it, we end up back in that hole. All right, what else is coming up here is carpal tunnel. So that's when you get a pain in your hand from the bones in your wrist or components in your wrist putting pressure on the blood vessels or nerves that go into your hand. All right, it's safe to be loved. And for many people, love is interwoven with abuse. If our families showed love at times and then were difficult at other times, it's hard to separate that abuse and that love. I have room in my heart for love. And I guess when we're not loved as we would like to be loved, it can either be that we don't understand our own love languages, or the people around us don't understand what our love language is, and they love us in the way that they like to be loved, which may not be the way we like to be loved. All right. So then when we have, when we don't feel like we're loved as we desire to be loved, we feel that we're not worthy of love, or we feel that others don't respect what we have. Let's say love is safe and comfortable. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. Sometimes love is fiery or feisty or dangerous or risky. But I still feel that it's better to love and take the risk and lose than to never love. And I guess the same with, whatever project is in your heart, or whatever it is that you need to be consistent at, or to keep pressing forward with, is worth your effort. So keep going, don't stop. Believe that what you want and what is in your heart is an important thing. It's almost a living thing that needs to be fed and nurtured and watered and, thought about and pondered over and prayed over, just like any person. I think sometimes we need to see our relationships like that too, that it's something that needs constant nurturing. All right, we're going to the throat chakra now. So the throat chakra is to do with truth. Now, sometimes it's not about us speaking truth, or it can be about us speaking our truth, but it can also be about us being truthful with ourselves about what we feel, or what we want to express, or what we want people to understand about us, or what we want to share about us. And I think often when we have a project or something that we want to achieve, we really don't want to show it or do it or begin it until it's perfect. But perfection is in the action of doing it. And as we learn and we try, we make mistakes and we do better, and then we make some more mistakes and we do better again. And the whole of life is about that, making mistakes. All right, feeling shut down. Now, sometimes the people around us are fearful of us looking silly, or making them look silly or vulnerable. And so people around us may want to shut us down because they're fearful of our failure, or fearful of us being hurt, or fearful of us wasting time or money or effort. And so people will inadvertently try to shut us down because of their fear. And sometimes that's really hard, because if we're already fearful ourselves, then it makes it hard to have trust that we can do what's important. I'm comfortable expressing my authentic self. And I think, sometimes it requires us to be very vulnerable to share what's important, and being vulnerable is scary. We can be hurt, we can be ridiculed. All right, it's now safe to express myself. What is it that your heart would have you do or say? And how would you like to say that or do that? It's okay for me to sing my life song. I acknowledge my unique set of superpowers. I think sometimes about, I don't know if you've ever watched some of those cooking shows where they, I think it's MasterChef, and they have a time limit, and they have, certain ingredients and a lot of pressure, and people watching them and having to make a masterpiece in a set time. And I know that I couldn't do that. I would be lying under the table in the fetal position, because I wouldn't cope with that. So we have to know what it is that we can cope with, and the format in which we can do something. So for some people, it's hard to be seen or to be heard. So if we start perhaps with an email or a little post, or sharing an experience, to start in a small way and to talk about why something is important to you. Because I think the why is one of the most important things for our reasons for doing things. If our reason is to share what's in our heart and to show love to people, then that's a really good why. And people love, our whys. All right, something in our timeline. So age 16. All right, so for people on the call, where in your body are these desires and feelings that you want to express stuck? Where are they caught? Or where is there old wounds hiding that need to be addressed, that are preventing you from going forward? So the cranial bones come up. Okay, so the skin. All right, so I'm just going to use feelings buried alive, never die. All right, so what's coming up is feelings of desolation. And sometimes as we make choices, we can feel very alone, or feel that it's hopeless, or what we want to achieve is not worthwhile. But if we can think about the future of us accomplishing what it is that we feel is important, and how the recipients will feel, or our tribe will feel as we express these things, we can grasp onto the people that we know that are a tribe. And I guess that's where it's important to, work out who your representative person is, or your avatar. How can you help them? What will the thing that you do or make or perform or, give out, how will that help that person? And how will you recognize these people? So I guess the opposite of desolation is to feel included, or to feel part of, or repaired. Let's say I'm whole, included, and connected. All right, connected is still weak. So this is a generational component now on Dad's side, Dad's dad, and both men and women. All right, so disapproval of self, or running from the self. And I think this can happen. We can be in the habit of blaming ourselves, or in the habit of feeling that we didn't do it good enough, or, wanting to take responsibility for everything, which we cannot. I know when I was earlier as a chiropractor, if I worked on someone and they didn't improve, I would feel that I had failed, that I hadn't done a good job, or I hadn't repaired or found the things that I needed to find. And I wouldn't take into consideration, perhaps the things they'd been doing, what they'd been thinking, what they'd been eating or drinking or smoking, or, all those other things that contributed to how their body was working. So I would want to take all of that on. And then we can fall into the hole of believing that the things that are not working are our fault. So it's like important to have the right perspective, to own our bit, but also to allow others to own their part too. All right, so we go a little bit more into that third chakra again. All right, I'm free to become all I want to be. And if I ask if there's anything preventing me becoming from all I want to be, something in our lifetime, age 7, age 22, 25, 30, also a generational component to the third chakra. So dad's side, dad's mum, and the women. More generational things here, dad's side, dad's dad, and the men. Feeling unable to be in control of our own life. And I guess that's where the Just Keep Swimming comes in. It's like we may struggle with our eating or our drinking or our avoiding exercise or our addiction to our phones or Facebook or Instagram or whatever thing it is that we're addicted to. And then we feel like we can't control ourselves. But this is part of the Just Keep Swimming, that we keep trying. If we fall off the wagon, that we get back on. Don't give up. Don't ride it off. Just get back on and keep trying. All right, so now we're going to jump into the sixth chakra, or the brow chakra. I rely on my internal counsel. And Leela's mentioned black pepper oil, which we can use for our addictions and our unmasking. All right, I easily release all my hidden emotions as they are experienced. I create healthy boundaries. And sometimes we need to create these boundaries within ourselves so that we respect or acknowledge the things that we are struggling with, and know what it is that you have to avoid, what are the pitfalls. So there may be certain times in the day that are difficult, or certain situations that are difficult that we may need to prep ourselves for, and use our oils, or use affirmations, or use whatever tools that we have to help ourselves get through this particular situation that we know is dangerous for us. Lila's mentioned love your addictions. And I think every weakness we have is given to us, from divine powers to become our strength. And, they're not there accidentally. They're there for a reason, for us to understand what it is that we have to understand. All right, now we're going into our aura. So the fourth layer of the aura, it's to do with our interactions and our relationships and our bonds. All right, and we can have a stagnant accumulation of negative energy. Donna Eden talks about fluffing up your aura, and she does this thing where she goes all around the aura, all the way around, to help move the energy in the aura. All right, so reactions to feelings here. All right, anxious over details. And, there are some people that see the big picture and, need help to get the finer details. There are other people that see all the details and have trouble with the bigger picture. So sometimes we need to coach or have someone that works with us to help us flesh out the details or look at what it is that's affecting us. So Leela's mentioned some things here about the brow chakra, knowing of spiritual matter, the need to relax, sleep, and the colour purple. All right, the third layer in the aura now. The third layer is the mental body, which is to do with our thoughts and our ideas. And so as we have these thoughts and ideas, we can, put them into action. So let's say I trust my thoughts and ideas. I know my purpose is secure. I'm on the right path for me. All right, auras, now we've got hooks, or it can be other weapons too, whatever you feel. Sometimes people latch onto our energy in an unhealthy way, and so it's about them, but it's also about us allowing that to happen. So we talked earlier about our boundaries, and sometimes we have to have the boundaries with ourselves, sometimes we have to have the boundaries with other people. And knowing what you will accept and what you won't accept, and being firm about that. Why do I have such healthy boundaries? All right, something generational from dad's side of the family, and the women. All right, still some more in the brow chakra. All right, active imagination in negative outcomes. I think I remember the first time I ever watched that movie, The Secret, And was talking about, what you think about is what you manifest, and was like, oh, what on earth have I been thinking? And I remember I rang my mum up. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And I said, I don't care if you're asleep, you have to understand this. And, I think we can focus on what could go wrong or the negative things and dwell on those negative things. And the more that we dwell on them and think about them, the more that we're going to bring them to pass. So it's like we can't afford to dwell on the negative. We must dwell on taking care of ourselves, on moving forward with purpose to meet the needs of our tribe, the people that we know that we can help, the people we know that understand us and that will value what we offer, and focusing again on what our purpose is, what our why is, who we're going to help, how we're going to help them, not focusing on what could go wrong, because if we focus on what could go wrong, that will come to us for sure. Doesn't mean we're not wise, but we need to focus on what we want and take action one step at a time, never stopping, being consistent, doing the things that you know you need to do on a daily basis that help you be your best self, getting enough sleep, expressing gratitude, communing with nature, praying, meditating, reading good things, reading uplifting things. Leila has mentioned cypress for moving forward. Yes, absolutely. When we're stuck, we can definitely use cypress oil. All right. This is from the Essential Emotions book. It says, cypress encourages individuals to cast aside their worries and let go of control so they can enjoy the thrill that comes from being alive. It reminds individuals that damnation is simply the discontinuation of growth and development, and invites them to step out of the way and allow life to flow freely or without compulsion. Cypress shows how to have perfect trust in the flow of life. All right, I am a balm to the broken-hearted and grief-stricken, holding firm and supportive, yet gently enough to allow the heart to heal and become stable again. My heart and mind are flexible, staying in the present moment, allowing movement, flow, and healing. I step into trust and participate in the power of co-creation. And I think that's really important. Whatever we feel in our heart to do is divinely inspired. And so we do need to co-create. We're not expected to do it all on our own. We are expected to pray and meditate on the things that we feel are important, and to ponder and to read and research, and to have quiet moments thinking about how it will look or how it will sound or feel or the experience of it. All right, I'm clear about what I want and then work towards it, anticipating its successful manifestation in my life. So I think that's really important, that we imagine and see how what we desire to do will manifest. If it's weight loss, how we will feel in that body, how we will walk, how we will move, how we will breathe, how our muscles will feel, how our body will feel, how good we will feel in our body. If it's, creating a business, how good will people come when they come to our business, or they are using our service, seeing the manifestation of that happening. All right, let's talk a bit about the skin. So what's coming up under the skin is inner conflict surfacing. Sometimes we think too, and we, design a business or a weight loss plan or a health plan or a fitness plan or, a relationship plan. We get very fixed or stuck, but maybe we need to be a little bit more flexible. If things or our focus changes a little, that we can go with that flow of how we feel it should change. And, if we have conflict, to address the conflict. There's nothing like up-leveling to bring out new challenges, or to bring out the things that have not been dealt with yet and are ready to move forward. All right. So feeling stuck in our skin. So what's coming up is feeling unwelcome or in the way. And sometimes this can be from family members or from friends, and sometimes we might think that it's us, or sometimes it's what they're going through and they're venting it towards us. So being able to observe when people are critical of us, to not take it personally, to understand that that's where they're at, and their fear or their anger or their struggle. Yeah, Leela's mentioned feeling unworthy. Yeah. So let's say I love and accept myself completely. Something in our genes, dad's side, dad's dad, and the men. Also mum's side, mum's dad, and the men again. Now, for some people, the skin can be the person telling the story that we're in trouble, and that is not the base of the trouble. Usually, skin problems are connected to our gut. And if our microbiome is not healthy and happy, then our skin isn't healthy and happy. So it's like learning to eat foods that help us have a good microbiome. Lewis also suggested some breathing exercises, and there are many breathing practices that you can go and learn that help you to release things that are stuck within your body. So yes, deep breathing can be very good. Deep breathing can help the bowel to move better too. Yes, stomach acid. Yes, stomach acid is vital in terms of breaking down our foods and killing bugs that come in via our mouth. So if our stomach acid isn't effective, then, it creates all sorts of havoc. And I guess it's our ability to digest food, but also our ability to digest our life experiences is affected as well. Right, now we go into the second chakra, which is about our balancing money, sex and power. So I'm going to use Jenny Rosengren's book again, Bitter Lettuce for Digestive Disorders, yeah. And you can buy digestive bitters as well. All right, so what's coming up here in the second chakra is everything I do is unacceptable. And, sometimes if we come from a family that have very high expectations, we can feel that we are failing to live up to their expectations and can then feel that our efforts are not effective. All right, I express my needs and generously meet the needs of others. My needs are important. And of course, the second and third chakra would affect the lower back. And probably the skin too, since the stomach would be involved in the third chakra. Yeah, I feel smothered and controlled. All right, so this is in our lifetime, age 16, age 20, 23, 26, 29, 32, 35, 40, 42, 45, 47, 50, 52. Okay. Leela's talking about the root chakra getting organised. That one really does need to be in place. All right, I am free to create as I am instructed. And when I say as instructed, I mean by divine intervention. All right, and for those that have yet to be parents, or we can apply this to our business too, that being the parent of our business, I will be the kind of parent my child needs. And, even if we've made mistakes in the past, and I certainly have, we can learn and we can apologise and we can try better and admit that we struggle and keep moving forward. All right, a generational component again. Dad's side, dad's dad, and the men. Lila's saying only share your plans with people who support you. Yeah. Well, that's probably true, isn't it? We need to be supported and encouraged. And sometimes you never know who will support you. Sometimes we feel that we won't be supported or discouraged, and sometimes that's because the person that's failing to support us or is discouraging us feels that they feel worried for us or scared for us, or they're worried that we will embarrass ourselves or embarrass them. So let's say I move forward regardless, one step after another. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. And some families are not error-friendly, and yet, of course, that's how we had to learn to walk. We fell down. When we learned to not poop our pants, we made mistakes. When we learned to feed ourselves, we made mess. But eventually we got it, and I think that's the same. We must be error-friendly. Why am I so error-friendly? So generational component here, mum's side, mum's mum, and the women. And I guess in times past, maybe errors led to illness or death or accidents or other problems. And I guess that's still the case, isn't it? The world is full of people that have suffered accidents and unexpected illnesses and trials and separations. And, we have each of these experiences to learn. Like what you've said, Tabitha, courage with vulnerability. Yeah, it's very true. I think vulnerability is important because as we share our vulnerability, we encourage others to. And really, vulnerability is showing others who we really are and what we're really about. Not everyone will like us. So Leela's talking about SIBO symptoms, one burps, get checked out. Yeah. Yes, I think SIBO is actually quite common. So it's like that actually stands for small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And when our stomach doesn't work properly, this is often the ongoing effect. And when our small intestine's out of order, we don't absorb all our nutrients as we should. And I think we can feel very vulnerable too, and that will affect our small intestine. Okay, so just to check in with those that mentioned their symptoms. So we had skin and back and head, chakras 2, 3 and 6. Just making sure we're okay with all those. Thank you for those that were on the call. Thank you for those that post in the group or share things or are willing to, comment. I appreciate you doing that. Grateful for each of you and your vulnerability and your ability to try and not give up. And even on the days that you do give up, that you get back on the horse and you go again. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here, and we'll end the call there. All the best. Go and smile and be yourself.